Hey, bonjour à tous. Bienvenue au neuvième cours de français. Donc, aujourd'hui, nous allons apprendre les interrogatifs. C'est quoi l'interrogatif? Avant de commencer, nous allons voir notre proverbe du jour et c'est que l'habit ne fait pas le moine. Okay, so as usual, we are beginning with the proverb of the day, which is l'habit ne fait pas le moine, which translates to the clothing style or the clothes never make you a monk, right? So this is a proverb of the day with which we are beginning. So in this video, nous allons apprendre, we are going to learn the interrogatives. What are interrogatives? We will see, and although interrogative can be divided into various parts, but then we will begin with the most basic one today, and we will see how do we use these er ending verbs and other things that we have done in an interrogative format, right? So till now what we have done is we have done er ending verbs, right? Now we are able to make sentences like I speak French, we are beginning the class, she arrives late today. All these things we are able to do now, right? But then what about when you want to ask a question? So asking a question is l'interrogation or the interrogation, right? So every language has got its own specific ways of framing questions, just like English, है ना? हिंदी में भी क्वेश्चन बनाने के अलग अलग तरीके होते हैं, राइट? तो अब नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू सी इंटेरोगेशंस व्हिच कम्स इन थ्री पार्ट्स इन फ्रेंच. द फर्स्ट पार्ट the first part is l'intonation, the intonation. So l'intonation, ça veut dire quoi? What is it? So intonation is just the rising tone. So you just change the tone the way you say a sentence, right? The way you speak a sentence. So for example, this is the verb aimer that we're using here. Il aime la glace. So this is a, if you read it in a certain tone, it can be considered as an affirmative sentence. But if we change our tone, if we change the way we speak it, it can become a question also. Il aime la glace. He likes ice cream? Question mark. Vous habitez ici. This is a sentence which is the sentence you live here. So the verb is habiter. It's a er ending verb we are using here. If still there is some confusion with the er ending verbs, you can always go back to lesson number 5, lesson number 6, lesson number 7, 8, and then you can of course watch this lesson number 9. So if we change our tone, so how do we say? Vous habitez ici? Do you live here? In this sense. So any sentence, you make any sentence for that matter, but you change the tonality of that sentence, the tone, it becomes a question. And that's what we refer to as l'intonation, the intonation, right? We move forward. Now the second way of asking a question is by adding est-ce que, E-S-T-C-E-Q-U-E, est, ce, que, est-ce que, right? Donc, c'est quoi est-ce que? What is est-ce que? In English, we have do, does, is it, is this, right? So, for the equivalent of, those expressions in French is est-ce que, right? So, you just add est-ce que at the beginning of any sentence and it becomes a question. So let's just imagine that there is no est-ce que in this sentence. It is like nous commençons, we're beginning, we're starting, and then you add est-ce que, so it becomes est-ce que nous commençons? Are we beginning? Is it that we are beginning? Est-ce que vous habitez en Inde? Is it that you live in India? Right? And then est-ce qu'elle travaille aujourd'hui? Is it that she works today? Right? So what you do is you make any sentence, any normal positive affirmative sentence, and you add est-ce que in front of this sentence at the very beginning of the sentence. It becomes a question, right? Est-ce que. So one more thing to take care here is that whenever we write est-ce and there is a vowel clash. So for example, if we see carefully, there is est-ce, there is an e, and there is a v. So these two things are not two vowels together. So the third sentence has got two vowels together. I'm sorry. So est-ce, the e will go away, and in the place of that e, this comma comes, right? So this is how we do in French. Two vowels never come together, and in the place of the first vowel, we put a comma mark or the apostrophe mark, right? So these are the two ways. Now the most important part, the most important way in which the questions are constructed in French. So the third way is l'inversion, the inversion. अब inversion का क्या मतलब है? What does inversion mean? So इसमें दो चीजें हमें ध्यान रखनी है. We need to really take care of two things in here, which is we never try to translate it, because when you translate it in English, it doesn't mean anything. But this is a French way, right? This is the way, their own original way of asking question, which is they change the subject and the object. If you remember, we have done subjects and the conjugations, etc. in our previous sessions. We saw that you make sentences like vous parlez anglais, vous parlez hindi, je parle lentement, comme ça, all these sentences. So in such sentences, there is a specific arrangement. Vous is a subject, right? You. And parler is a er ending verb which is conjugated. It's a verb. So when you interchange the verb and the subject, so what happens? The normal affirmative sentence is vous parlez anglais, but then you want to make it a question, right? So what you do is you just kind of interchange their positions and you say parlez-vous anglais? Oui. And then, for example, the next one, tu arrives aujourd'hui. You are coming today. You're arriving today. So you want to make a question. So arrives-tu aujourd'hui? उल्टा कर देंगे, right? We interchange the positions of the subject and the verb. ये this is the most used way of asking a question, specifically in the spoken French, right? But then, since we are just beginning, you can always choose the most easiest one depending on the one you can remember, right? So what I suggest is that you always try to use this ESC version, because this is easy and easy to remember, and there are less chances of making mistakes. But then, as we go forward, as we move forward, we will try to be more authentic with our French. So we will try to use inversion, right? Okay. Inversion में inversion en continu, continuation of the inversion, il existe une petite exception. Ça veut dire there is a little exception, which is whenever, this is just for the questions, right? This is just for the questions. So whenever in a question, two vowels, they come together, specifically when you make it a question in an inversion form. So for example, il parle anglais. There must not be a question mark in here. I'm sorry about that. Okay, il parle anglais, because this is an affirmative sentence. He speaks English. Now I want to make it a question, right? I want to construct a question of this sentence, which would be, does he speak English, in that sense? So, and specifically, I want to use inversion. अब जब मैं inversion इसमें use करूंगा, so how would I go about it? Parle il anglais. Easy. यही, this is what we have learned, कि हम verb और subject की position को interchange कर देते हैं. वो हमने कर दिया. Il आ गया पाल की जगह पे, and पाल goes to ill place, right? But then there's a little issue that arises here, which is then that in the interrogative form, specifically when we are using the inversion, whenever two vowels, they come together, e is a vowel, I is a vowel, so the sound may get slightly confusing in here, because it would be like this, it would be like that. Then parallel only. So what is parallel? Because when you speak fast, जब आप बहुत फ्लुएंटली बोलते हैं, तो जो सुनने वाला है, जो लिसनर है, दैट पर्सन कैन गेट स्लाइटली कंफ्यूज्ड, राइट? तो उस कंफ्यूजन को हटाने के लिए हम बीच में टी डाल देते हैं, राइट? सो इट वुड बी देन parle-t-il anglais? Parle-t-il anglais? Does he speak English? Remember, it only happens it only takes place, the T thing only happens in the interrogative form of the inversion, right? Two vowels are separated by a little T, right? इसके more examples हम देख लेते हैं. Plus d'exemples. Affirmative is elle arrive tard ce soir. She arrives late this tonight or this evening. So interrogative would be arrive-t-elle tard ce soir? Because we separate the two vowels with a T. Similarly, il aime la glace. He loves ice cream. Aime-t-il la glace? Does he like the ice cream? Right. So I have put in a sheet in the description section. You can download it always. There is a explanation of what all we have done. And there is also a little text to read. There are exercises to do with the answer keys. You can always practice with the help of that sheet. So ये हमारे थे interrogations. अभी तो हमने question बनाना सीखा. We have learned how to construct questions, how to create questions, right? But what about certain words? In English also we have certain words. For example, where are you going? What time is it? Right? How do you commute today? All these things. So इन सब चीज के लिए हम यूज करते हैं these adverbs interrogative, the interrogative adverbs. Or the interrogative adverbs, when do we use? We use it for time, place, reason, maybe manner at times, right? So what these only these four we are going to see in this session for now. So first is con. Remember Anon. And if you don't remember, you can always go back to the first session. Quand is when, où is where, pourquoi is why, and comment is how, right? And that's why in French they call comment tu t'appelles. Why would they say it? Because they say, how do you call yourself? Right? Okay. So we will see more examples related to these interrogative adverbs that we have just seen. So quand is when. So remember, हमारे पास three ways हैं. We have three ways of asking questions. Either we can use the intonation, the rising tone, or we can use the Est form, or we can use the inversion form, right? तो इन interrogative adverbs को भी हम तीनों फॉर्म में यूज कर सकते हैं. कैसे? एक तो सिंपल है, vous arrivez quand, you're coming when. ठीक है? A lot of people make this mistake. They try to use it like this, quand vous arrivez. That is not incorrect, but that's not the standard French grammar, right? So it should be vous arrivez quand, right? Or you can use quand est-ce que vous arrivez. So you put est-ce que here. So when is it that you're coming? You are coming when, right? And the last one is inversion. So inversion method, we know, we just kind of interchange the subject and the verb. We put quand arrivez-vous. Quand arrivez-vous? It means when are you coming, right? So there are three ways of doing it. In a similar manner, there is où, which is where. Il réside où? So résider is a er ending verb, which means to reside. This is a very formal form of saying habiter. Il réside où? Intonation form. Où est-ce qu'il réside? Where is it that he lives? Réside-t-il où? Remember, we saw why would we put a T between these two words, because one ends with a vowel and the other starts with one. So we kind of separate them with a T. So réside-t-il où? Where does he live? Right? And then the last one is pourquoi. Pourquoi is why, right? So the first one is intonation. Vous arrivez tard. Pourquoi? You coming late. Why? Or pourquoi est-ce que vous arrivez tard? Why is it that you're coming late? Or pourquoi arrivez-vous tard? Why are you coming late? So there are always three ways. You can always go by these three ways, right? And create questions. You can feel free to be creative about creating questions, and you can always send those to me if send any doubt or anything that you write or anything that you want correction for. You can always send it to me, or you can put it in the comment section. There is one little exercise in the description section. You can always download it. There are explanations of interrogatives. There are some more interrogative adverbs, etc. Those could be helpful, right? So in the coming up next session, what we are going to do is we will see how negatives are created, and then the following or all the other following sessions, we will see more interrogative forms, we will see more negative forms, and of course, going forward, we will see the IR ending, the RE ending verbs, and how do we create sentences with those. And then, of course, être, avoir, and aller is also there, right? Thank you very, very much for your time. I hope it's useful for you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.